Alright, gamers, it's official. E just confirmed that Battlefield 6 is dropping with a massive day 1 patch. We're not talking about a few hotfixes or a balance pass. We're talking over 200 individual fixes and changes landing before most people even boot the game up. Now, that sounds great on paper, but let's be real, a patch this big before launch usually means one of two things. Either E and DICE are polishing a nearly ready shooter into perfection, or they're in full damage control mode trying to fix problems they already saw coming. According to the official e-community update, the patch dropping right alongside the full release will cover everything from weapon balance to animation bugs to network desyncs. They've reworked the way movement feels apparently. It's smoother, more responsive, and less slippery. Weapon recoil has been retuned across the board, rewarding players who control their bursts instead of spraying wildly. And one of the biggest complaints from the open beta, the desync issue supposedly got a full overhaul. You know that moment when you duck behind a wall, but you still die a second later. Yeah, that's the one. He says that's been addressed with improved server tick rates and new lag compensation logic. Insider Gaming reports that several vehicles, especially light tanks and hovercrafts, got rebalanced too. Armor resistance, weapon spread, and hit registration have all been adjusted for fairer vehicle to infantry engagements. Translation: maybe, just maybe, we won't see tanks farming players endlessly this time around. Meanwhile, Notebook Check highlighted that the update also touches the little things, like more natural footsteps in mud, cleaner weapon sounds indoors, and a refreshed HUD that's less cluttered. They even mentioned lighting improvements in the new Operation Firestorm map, which might finally fix that weird orange haze that made everything look like you were stuck inside a Dorito bag. But here's where it gets interesting: early physical copies of Battlefield 6 are already out in the wild. Some retailers broke street date, and players are already uploading screenshots, gameplay clips, and even patch free runs. Twisted Voxel confirmed that the PS5 version sits at around 68 gigabytes right off the disk. And some of those copies don't even have the new update yet, meaning people are playing the unpatched version while the rest of us wait for day one download. That's kind of crazy. We've got two versions of the game circulating before launch, and nobody knows exactly how different they'll feel once that giant patch hits. Now, to be fair, he says these changes were driven by community feedback from the open beta, which gathered over 92 million hours of playtime. That's a huge amount of testing data. The developers even teased that some highly requested features like naval warfare, small aircraft, and platoon coordination systems are under review for post launch updates. So they're definitely trying to show that they're listening. Still, it's a risky move. 200 fixes right out of the gate means they're touching almost every aspect of the game, and anyone who's ever shipped code knows what that means. Fix one bug, spawn three new ones. It's ambitious, maybe even reckless, but it also shows confidence, like they want to avoid another Battlefield 2042 style disaster at all costs. The community is divided. Half the fans are saying, good, they're learning from their mistakes. The other half are saying, if you need 200 fixes before launch, maybe it wasn't ready. And honestly, both sides have a point. E's launch history is mixed. Remember Battlefield V's missing features or 2042's empty maps. They can't afford another rough start. So here's what I'll be watching when it drops. Performance across consoles and PC. Are we getting stable frame rates this time? Weapon balance. Does the new recoil system actually feel better, or did they ruin fan favorite guns? Desync and hit registration. Is that you died behind a wall nonsense finally gone? Map flow. Did the spawn fixes and layout changes actually make large maps more fun? Server stability. Can the game survive that first weekend rush without imploding? If E nails these points, this could genuinely be the comeback Battlefield fans have been begging for. A strong launch could rebuild trust, especially after 2042 fractured the fan base so badly. But if it doesn't, if those 200 fixes end up breaking something else, the backlash will be brutal. Personally, I think this patch is E's way of saying, look, we know we've messed up before, but this time we're ready. They're front loading everything to avoid the embarrassment of having to say, we'll fix it later. And honestly, I respect that. But until we see the patch in action, it's just promises and patch notes. So, yeah, Battlefield 6 is coming in hot, 200 fixes deep, early copies leaking everywhere, and a community already dissecting every frame of pre release footage. Will this be Battlefield's redemption arc or its next disaster? We'll find out soon enough. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think E can pull this off? Because if this patch actually delivers, it might be the first time in years that the Battlefield community agrees on something. That the fight might finally be fun again.